Hello and welcome back to See Hope Podcast, where we're looking for hope in every situation. Now we've been away for a little bit, and you've probably noticed we had a baby, and
Not me. Not me.
no.
Him and his
Me
wife.
and my wife had a baby, and that is one of the reasons why we've been away. She's a very selfish baby. She loves to keep our attention, and she's a little bundle of joy. Love her. My wife is doing really well. The baby's doing really well. So, but we've also been doing some admin in the background. So, we've got an easier way for people to contact us. We're building a website as well. But to begin with, we've got our domain. So, if you want to contact us, email us at contact@seahopepodcast.com. We both monitor that email address, and it'll come up very quickly. So if you want to come on the show, if you want to give us a story of hope, make sure you send it through. We'd love to hear it, and we'd love to hear from you guys. We've also been working on a Patreon page, so we haven't actually fully finished it. So it's at Patreon, See Hope Podcast, and if you go on there, we're hoping to get a place where you guys can help support us financially, so we can actually do this more, and so we can upgrade our equipment and our room, because we're still working on that. We've got a Facebook page, so See Hope Podcast Facebook page, and you can follow us there as well. So we've been doing quite a few things in the background, getting ready for this launch back in, and we got some new merchandise. We've got some shirts. John's looking pretty snazzy over there, aren't you, buddy?
Yep. Loving it.
Loving it. We've been doing some things, while we've been away. So we're going to be talking about those things tonight. So I went to the March for Australia, and we're going to have a quick chat about that. We're also going to touch on the sad news of Charlie Kirk's death, his assassination. Really, really sad, and praying for him and praying for his family. We do see that we do have a faith that he has gone home, so he's been called home by God early, and we do know that he has a plan. So, but before we get started, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, share the show with everyone you know. Let's get into it, John. So I'm going to start with my experience with March for Australia.
Yep.
So I went to a March for Australia. I actually interviewed a few people. Some of those videos you can see on our Facebook page as shorts. On our Facebook page, and you can see it on the YouTube shorts. It was awesome to be there. Like, I've never experienced anything like it. It was just really cool to kind of walk through the city, just with a whole bunch of people who just really love Australia and don't want to see. And it was really cool to see a lot of people, and a lot of people I talked about kind of traditional values that the Australia that it's fundamentally changing, because we are just importing so many people. Like, it's like 1,500 a day.
Yep.
At this point. And the march wasn't about end of immigration completely. And it was really cool to see that there was a whole bunch of people who wasn't just white Australians there. It was Aboriginals, Torres Strait Islanders, Italians, Greeks, mate. There was every ethnicity under the sun there. But it was more about kind of protecting and kind of trying to safeguard those values, because we got a lot of people coming in, but we don't have a lot of like assimilation going on. The thing you need for Australia to kind of keep operating the way it is. And like, I think that Australia is kind of moving away from its roots being Christian roots anyway. And I don't think that's a good thing. And I feel like as the West all up moves further and further away from its Christian roots, you kind of find this kind of descent into chaos a little bit.
With that assimilation, do you think, and this is just something came out of the blue just now, do you think the fact that they're doing this mass migration and a lot of people coming from similar regions around the world, there's this natural ability when you go into a new environment that you will assimilate, except for if you have a bunch of people coming from the same place, then they'll keep a lot of that culture because they're
Yeah, look, from what I've experienced and from what I've seen, like you look at, let's even just take Sydney for example, and you're looking at the different suburbs. You can literally go to a different suburb and know that that suburb has that particular ethnicity. So it's not like there's actual assimilation going there. They're kind of making micro communities within the wider community, and there's actually conflict between those communities as well. Um, so
so then why just now? Like I don't agree with mass migration. I think like if you got a border, you need to have a
yeah, it's probably
sustainable number.
the frog in the pot kind of thing. So we're hitting boiling point where we're seeing the repercussions of so many people coming in, and I think it's getting to, and I think one of the things that is hitting really badly is that there's with the poor governance kind of going on, it's too much regulation. We're not actually being able to build. Topher Field goes into this. We're not building houses that can be cheap because there's a standard of living that people want. And there's also regulations. So it's actually for building companies to be able to build affordable housing, it's near impossible for them to do. And so it kind of comes into your people who have bought housing like as investments as well. But with the increase of people as well, so you don't have the enough supply and demand really. And so I think that's where it's kind of hit that boiling point where people are like, hang on, this is hitting us a lot. We don't have the infrastructure for it. Traffic's getting really bad. There's there's not always the foods you want at the shops. Just just over. There's just too much demand for the supply that we have here so far. We haven't actually. I feel like we haven't built what we need for it. But in terms of culture, I think there's so many different cultures hitting together, and there's no one kind of. I think we kind of really need to look at ourselves and go, what is Australian culture? What do we need to kind of going forward? What do we want to look like? Because at the moment, I don't think we really know. We used to be a people who, like the Anzacs, were about hard work, being a larrikin, and everyone getting a fair go. When at the moment, it's just like feels like everyone doesn't have a fair go, and that you can't actually make a joke or anything like that. So I don't know. It just feels like we're losing our identity because there's so many people coming in, and the one of the things I'm really kind of upset about is that they keep telling us that we're awful colonizers who came here and stole the land from the Aboriginal people, but then they're importing 1,500 people a day. It kind of doesn't make sense to me that they just kind of keep bringing in more people.
Yeah. So to give Albanese credit, which I don't like doing, um, all he's done is the reason it's increased is because through COVID, the migration numbers went to zero, right?
Yeah. So and also we have a low replacement rate.
Yeah.
Now we hit
Which
we
makes no sense that you'd have a payment for like late term abortions and then go, we're going to import some new ones.
well, I think that's the it's easier for them to import new ones than it is to
Well,
have kids
they
because
want
when you have
working age.
yeah, and when you have kids, you're actually taking someone out of the workforce for a certain amount of time because of maternity leave and stuff, and that costs the government as well.
Yeah.
So it's easier to just bring people in to work instead of actually fostering a society and culture around the kids you bring up and whatnot. What was the part of your question then? You're giving credit to Albanese's now. So I will rebuttal. So as I was saying about the replacement rate and stuff, we actually hit what we needed when we imported let's say we've got 100% right now. What we needed was 33%, and we hit that mark ages ago. I can't remember where the statistic was, but we have met the target for, I guess, beating replacement rate and those small COVID where we didn't have immigration. So it's not just, it's kind of like
So then is it?
we've made the mark, but we're now going way beyond it.
So
And
is
so,
that Jacinta Price? Her comment, does that then ring true?
what is Jacinta Price's comment? Do you want me to try find it?
You can find it. Google Jacinta Price comment on Indians. Pretty much, she just said that they're voting Labor, so of course Labor will let them in.
There's a call for apology. Let me see if I can actually find the
Quote.
quote. Price said large numbers of Indian people are being allowed into. This is from ABC News. Are being allowed to migrate to Australia by Labor federal government because the Indian community votes for Labor.
I don't have an issue with that statement. If it's true,
As in you agree with
no, I don't agree with it. I don't know. I'm just saying if it's true, then like it's not a racial thing. It's just if they vote a certain way, like
yeah. So it feels like they're picking from kind of certain places in the world to bring people in.
yeah, but
Like
if you're playing the game of politics, that makes sense to do that. I don't.
yeah.
I have an issue with them doing it, but it makes sense. Like if I was Team Labor, I'd be like, yeah, do it. You know?
Yeah. It's kind of what the Democrats were doing with flooding America with illegal immigrants, because a lot of them will end up in blue areas, and they can actually
Well, the kids can vote definitely.
their kids can vote because of the
Citizenship.
the birthright citizenship. But it's congressional seats are appointed by population size.
Yeah.
So the people those Democrat cities and districts get more seats because and then more votes in Congress because there's a bigger population. And I guess that's one of the things that they found was um, unfair to the system that they've built.
So then, would you say?
And I guess that Australia, if what is true, if Jacinta's
Yeah.
comment is true, and I'm sure you could find such data on that eventually,
Yeah.
that that is stacking the deck, and that's unfair, and that'll make Labor kind of run the joint for the next however long, unless we fall into chaos and we just
Um.
yeah
Okay.
yeah.
So at the rally, were there much like racist comments or racist? Because that's what I've listened to a bit of the ABC radio. Which, if you want to listen to some whack jobs, that's definitely the place for it. And they were pretty much just saying, if you've been there, if you're there, you're a racist. That's how they categorized it.
Honestly, I didn't hear much racism at all. There was a lot of hate towards Albo,
Yep.
and in particular Penny Wong. So there was a sign that kind of got headlines there, and they had a sign of Penny Wong and I actually interviewed the woman, which the video's not up yet, but it's coming. I interviewed the woman, and she had the sign saying "Dumb and Dumber," and it had Penny Wong and Albo. And there was a lot of people that was just like, "Make Albo go away," which is like the kind of the Australian Margaret at the moment.
Yeah.
Make Albo go away.
I saw, I think, a post on I think it was Instagram, and it was Australians are getting advice from Albo's ex-wife. How do we get rid of him?
And has she answered?
No.
Has she given a
No,
statement?
just a little meme.
A lot of Aussie, oi, oi, oi. There was a lot of that. There was a lot of the people I spoke to were just mostly concerned about cost of living, cost of housing, everything's kind of on the rise because there's so many more people kind of putting pressure on those systems.
Yeah.
So there was a mum there with two kids, her husband and two kids, and one of the kids has got special needs, and she's finding it hard to actually get support and into like hospital and stuff when those medical conditions kind of flare up, because she obviously on the reliant on the public system, and she's like, the hospitals are crowded,
Overstretched. Yeah.
overstretched, the staff are overstretched. We're struggling to be able to, and she was an Aboriginal woman as well, and if you want to,
With that, on when I was sick last week, I was crook ass.
yeah,
I ended up going to the.
we were going to start
Yeah.
actually, we were going to start a while ago, and we
I
we
went to
did record a session, but I didn't record the audio. That's my fault there.
I went to
But
the urgent care clinic. That's what Albo was
so
banking on in the last election gun. This is
so
what
that's how bad it was. You went.
Yeah,
You
I went to the
actually.
doctor.
That's
Yeah.
really look. That's surprising to me. I didn't know that. John's more those people that will suffer in silence as much as possible. So for him to go to hospital for an urgent care clinic, that's big. I
I
think.
don't know where they get the name urgent care clinic. There might be a clinic. I don't know.
Or maybe it's the most urgent care, even though like compared to other things.
But my wife dropped me off first because like I was delusional in the head as well as sore throats and like.
Yep. What, she just let you wander around?
Dropped me off at the urgent care clinic. Then she dropped Ada off at my daughter off at her parents' house.
Yeah.
Then went to Newcastle for her appointment.
Yeah, right.
Went back to Ada to pick her up at her parents. Then came to pick me up. And I had finished 5 minutes before she got there.
Wow. And what was the outcome?
It was just viral.
Yeah.
Yeah. No medicine or anything, which it was fine. I was at that point.
They're just telling you to take Panadol and Nurofen or something.
I was on the way down from the viral infection, but the night before I was trying to get into a telehealth and get some drugs.
Yeah.
I was in pain the night before, and then I woke up and I couldn't talk.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
There was yeah, that's all right.
But 3 hours it took to.
Yeah, so our systems are definitely under pressure, and that's what a lot of the march was about. And yeah, people are just upset about it. And there was a really funny guy that we were kind of walking with, not with him, but he was near us, and he was closest to the traffic. And he just kept making fun of the traffic. He's like, yeah, welcome to Sydney traffic. This is what it is all the time now. And it's just mocking all the drivers who were stuck in traffic. Oh, man. Good stuff.
Back to the ABC radio. There was a guy that called up.
Yep.
Who was a part of the march too. And just so this goes like overseas and stuff, ABC here is meant to be a public broadcast. So
yeah, it's supposed to be
taxpayer money type thing. And they definitely don't represent.
No, they don't represent the taxpayers
at all. So this guy's called up and said, this is my experience in the march, rah, rah, rah. And the radio host guy couldn't get over the neo-Nazis. He's like, oh, you happy that you've been in a march that had neo-Nazis?
Yeah.
And my thinking, right, and correct me if I'm wrong in framing it this way, the ABC has had claims with racism towards Aboriginal people working within their company.
Yep.
They've had sexual harassment claims. Does that guy that's in that radio station, is he okay that he's a part of that culture?
He's part of the culture.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, there's the double standard going on.
There's people that are going to show up to any event, and that doesn't mean that everyone that is at that event supports that person.
Yeah.
And has the same ideals as that person.
Or they represent that group kind of thing. So I think that's something I kind of felt like I wanted to actually speak up, because when the march started in Sydney, and there wasn't a heap of direction, and I think that's where it kind of struggled the most, is that the first march was kind of put together quite rapidly, and it wasn't a allowed to be on the Harbour Bridge and stuff like this, and it was put on the same weekend as a what do you call it, as
Yeah.
the marathon,
City to
yeah,
surf or something.
something like that, a big marathon, the fun
Okay.
run,
Yeah.
something, and it just wasn't the right, like it just kind of made things harder, and so we didn't end up marching where we wanted to march in the first place. But because there wasn't heaps of leadership there, and I think because the actual organizers were at the end point organizing a stage for and an open mic for people to talk through, um, though the people who kind of started it off were the neo Nazis. They kind of led the charge, and I felt like I really wanted to stand in front and be like, these guys don't represent us. Why are they at front and center? But I didn't have the ghoulies to do that. I also feel like I didn't have a megaphone or anything like that, and I could have been there was a really large police presence, um, which didn't end up being needed because it was I think there was only one arrest for the whole march in Sydney over all the marches that were going on there. But yeah, I don't think they fully represent the what was wanting from the march. So it wasn't
Okay.
just like,
I'm going to go back to the neo Nazis for a
yeah,
minute. Just answer a quick one: peaceful or not peaceful? The protests.
the process in Sydney was completely peaceful. I heard there was on the news and stuff there was a bit of upset between two groups in the Victoria March, and I think that was the only in Melbourne's march, and I think that was the only one that actually had.
Victorians
But
normally
yeah,
escalate.
the
Yeah.
Victorians, but like even going off crime statistics, Victoria's crime is up like 29%, which is quite large.
Yeah.
And I think there's just a lot of uprest in Victoria, but they also have a more radical left because they're more the whole kind of state is more
Woke.
aligned, more or not. I wouldn't say the whole state. The city is more aligned to the left woke initiative kind of thing. So you would find um, more kind of radical elements there that might clash with the radical elements on the right, being those neo Nazis. And I believe they were there as well. I don't think I remember seeing them in the Queensland or Canberra marches or any of the other ones, but I think it was mostly just Sydney and Melbourne.
So with that, how many neo Nazis would you say like that were clearly identifying as neo Nazis in that march?
Yeah, and they made sure they clearly identified themselves. They all wore the same thing. It was like a uniform. Um, there was probably about 20 of them at the
Yeah,
most.
20.
There wasn't very many
So when
out of like 15,000.
yeah.
Like the march was
So I
huge.
should be looking underneath my pillow for these neo Nazis.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think
Never
you got anything to worry about, and I don't think anyone's got anything
the
to worry
news
about from.
the news is just that's
That's
all they
right.
say.
And I don't think, and like going off last weekend's second march in Sydney, which was, I think, a little bit better organized. And yeah, they didn't have the Nazi element there. And it was more focused on the corruption that was going on in the government.
Okay, I'm gonna
And again, no, I think there was only one, either one arrest or one person escorted away who was not a part of the Australian kind of march. They were heckling the Australian march, and they were pulled away because the police, I think, may have arrested them for like trying to upset the peace, which
disturb
I
the
don't
peace.
disturb the peace, which I don't really agree with as a law.
Yeah. I got a bit of a change of tack.
Yeah.
What is a neo Nazi?
Well, they describe themselves as racist. Like if I looked at the news, people interviewing them actually, are you racist? And they go, yes, yes, we are. They just want a white Australia, essentially.
But
So they're for one, what it seems like. Well, I don't know. I'm not representative of them. But what it seemed like from what the news captured is that they're looking for a white only Australia.
Do you know what neo means?
New.
Yeah, neo. Do you know what Nazi means?
Well, I'm guessing it's to throw back to the Nazi Germany,
Yeah, do you know what that means?
like eugenics and stuff.
No. Nazi.
Oh, Nazi was a peace symbol, wasn't it?
No, that's the symbol.
Oh,
But
that's a symbol.
Nazi is the National Socialist Party,
Yeah.
and it's a German arm of socialism.
Yeah.
So I just don't know how you get Nazis out in Australia if they're not in Germany.
I guess it's just what they kind of represent. And I think they're called neo-Nazis because it's the Nazis were looked at as fascists.
They
And
are fascists.
They are fascists.
They were fascists.
They were fascists. And I think these guys kind of their ideology is kind of seen as that as well. And possibly the eugenics side of things being, they think the white race is superior above all, which is not right.
Fascism is using violence, using violence, right?
No, there's a few different definitions of it. And there's like the use of the government with, I think, socialism controls companies, whereas companies control.
But fascism's to do with
the other way. It's like the other way around.
The authoritarianism, right?
No, I don't think that's exactly right. I'd have to
look it up. Look up fascism, because I reckon what happened in COVID.
I think just no one knows what fascism really is.
Look it up. What happened in COVID was fascism.
Simple definition of fascism. Now I can't speak. Fascism is categorized as by a dictatorial leader, centralized. So these are the different ones. So you got a dictatorial leader.
Yeah.
So dictatorship, centralized or autocracy.
Yeah.
Militarism, forced suppression of opposition, belief in natural social hierarchy. So that'll be the race element. The subordination, subordination of individual interests for the perceived interests of the nation or race, or strong regimentation of society and the economy.
Sounds like COVID.
It does sound like COVID.
So, my point is that I reckon neo-Nazis not great, right?
We all agree on this channel that neo-Nazis aren't great.
But I don't think suppressing thought is the way to go about it. I think open dialogue's a better option. But if you close that off, and that's what the government keeps doing, it only gives, I reckon, gives power to these groups.
Possibly.
You know.
Yeah. Look, I think by censoring kind of if you try to censor those groups, they do find, because of the internet, they find a way of actually talking to each other and whatnot. So they're just going to find more and more and more of each other.
But I reckon there's not that more and more.
I don't think so either. I think they're very, very much a very small minority. If you're looking at those two marches, you're looking at like 20 to 50 people.
But everyone at the march, according to the news, is now a neo-Nazi, but guilty by association.
Yeah, no, that's false. It'd be the other way around.
Yeah.
It should be the other way around. I think one of the things that kind of stuck out to me is so they did have an open. They had a few speakers, and then they had an open mic, and one of the leaders of the neo-Nazi group got up with that open mic and started talking, and he got booed a fair bit. But I don't think he should have been given a platform, to be honest.
Right.
I don't think they were representative of the march, and I think the open mic should have been for those who wanted to, who was there to represent the interest of the march.
I think
You think I'm being a bit authoritarian here?
I think you're stopping people from being able to freely express themselves, which so I don't mind in conversation
Yeah.
that obviously
So
I think bad ideas need to come out and then publicly people can
yeah,
correct them. Um,
but I think what I'm getting at is that we're in a situation where we are the minority when it comes to news organizations. So the power of media, let's say the power of
yeah,
media, we are the minority there. We actually need to be super careful and super precise of the what is perceived. So like my goal, and when I was on the train going down and talking to people and whatnot, one of the things I kept saying is like, if there's any sort of violence, we need to stop it right away.
yeah.
Like that's just not on. Like that's not what we're here for. That's not what we're there to represent. Because I don't think it would help our situation in any way. And I don't think having those guys front and center was going to help our situation at all. Like even if
Were
I know
they in front
you,
of the march or were they in front of the cameras? So that's two
no,
different things.
they're actually leading. They kind of led the march.
Okay.
Yeah, they're all in their own uniform, all they're in their black, and they were at the front of the march.
Okay.
And that was front and center on the media.
But again, the thing is as well is you probably align with a lot of what they want without knowing it. If you know what I mean, like there's
You calling me Nazi?
no. I'm saying that there's
He sounds like you're calling me Nazi.
well. So I found this really odd. With all that woke stuff that happened, there was like that decade of really bad, politics, Obama era, that kind of thing.
I feel like we're still in a pretty bad
I
era.
think we're on the kickback though. Doesn't feel like it's on a bit of a kickback.
I think there's a big change happening, and I think
Yeah,
there's a few catalysts that kind of have made this change going. I think the people are kind of rising up.
yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, with that woke era, I don't know where I was going now. I've lost it. I've Joe Bidened it.
Yeah, good on you, Brandon.
Yeah, yeah. I had a good point too.
Come on, man.
No. So going back, yeah, I remember. So with that, all the commentators were conservative commentators. I was listening to them, and I got to a point where I was listening to this Catholic, and I'm like, I'm not Catholic, and I don't really agree with a lot of the practices of Catholicism.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is a really bad time in like politics, and I can agree. Like, I'm getting so much on with this guy that's a Catholic, and I don't agree with like anything Catholic.
I think
I had more in line with that than
agreeing more with a Catholic is okay, considering it is still a form of Christianity. But like, it'd be more surprising, like if you were more aligning with someone who like from Islam kind of thing. I think that's there is, yeah,
even some of them. There's lots of crossover there,
there is, yeah.
and I was like, one
I think that's a better. I
culture
think that's a better example.
culture I was not lining up with, and politics I wasn't lining up with, but there was these people that were coming out that were, I'd say, really far away from me, and I was lining up with them more
Yeah,
than
I think that's what I think that's kind of the phenomenon of like Trump, because he's not far right. He's this moderate guy who's like a huge umbrella, and he's kind of brought so many groups together because they're all just against this kind of craziness that's going on, and he's given, and I guess the ruling class, like the career politicians and whatnot, because he's not a politician, and he's come through going, you know, you're welcome with me. And so I think you find that what they keep calling the far right and whatnot is just a huge umbrella of people. And it's that illustration. I can't remember who did it, but it was you had the two lines, and the far right and the far left, and then the far left keeps going. They've got the person in the center, and the person in the center and the far right aren't moving, but the far left is moving further and further away, and so they're kind of dragging the line, and then the person in the center then becomes far right essentially because of that.
like David Rubin.
Yeah. or even Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Like he's
Or Donald Trump. He's
Donald Trump. He was a moderate. He doesn't represent everything a conservative Christian represents, and I think that's what the beauty of his kind of politics was, that he was representative of so many,
yeah.
and he gave a
Well,
place for those people.
I tend to call these people that vote conservative. They won't say it. And if you get someone one on one and you start talking and they start opening up and they'll say, I don't talk to anyone like this. You get a lot of those types of people if you have these one on one conversations. But I call them closeted conservatives. They just like, it's not culturally, or like if you go out you're working in a business,
Yeah,
you get written up for having conservative values and
Yeah.
speaking that.
that's right.
But if you have this like really weird lefty, you're just immune.
I think, and I might move on to. Do you have anything more with the march you want to ask?
No, I was just curious because
You weren't there. I did invite you, but you were too.
But also,
too
all the
sick.
headlines were neo Nazis, and to my mind, I don't even know what a neo Nazi is. But apparently, they're boogeymen.
Boogeyman. If you are a neo-Nazi and you come across this channel, we will host a discussion if you'd like to come on. Just contact us at contact@chopodcast.com.au.
And
We would love to have a chat and see where your positions are. And
if they were as bad as they say, like on the media, I'd rather them like being out in public and I know who they are. If they're my neighbors, my daughter doesn't hang out, with the neighbors, because they're these bad people. But
yeah,
right now, like it's really impossible to know with the media being so untrustworthy.
yes, I agree.
I've actually got
But I look, I think you bring up something really important there, and then it kind of really goes into our second kind of story about Charlie Kirk, is the rhetoric that the mainstream media kind of pushes, being that anyone on the right, and they kind of lump everyone in together, that there is really far right people, but they are very much a tiny minority, but they lump everyone in together, but they even just call moderate conservatives Nazis and stuff like this. And so that's what happened, what I think has happened in the USA, that they say, they go up to people and ask the question, would you punch a Nazi? Oh yeah, I'll punch a Nazi. And so they're saying yes to violence already. And then they over and over again will call Trump, Charlie Kirk, all those people Nazis. And so in their mind, it's already going, oh, they're the enemy. I'm already allowed to hurt them because I've already in my mind have made up my mind to be able to hurt and punch a Nazi.
You know that they asked that question, if you had a time machine, would you go back in time and kill baby Hitler?
Yeah.
I reckon that's the dumbest question ever. Obviously not, because what happens is I get arrested for murdering a baby, and Hitler doesn't end up doing all the stuff he does. I'm just a baby murderer.
You are a baby murderer.
It's like
You're not really a baby murderer. It's hypothetical.
Yeah, hypothetical. But hypothetical, I wouldn't want to be a baby murderer.
Yeah. But like you also don't know like I don't know, when you're talking about time travel, you're talking about different timelines, because it's time travel's messy. But yeah, it's
Before we hit the Charlie Kirk, can I bring up a topic that you don't know about?
okay, hit me.
So I'm not a Labor supporter at all, but
No way.
I believe this state government has done one good thing, at least in my
Just
mind.
one?
They want to push forward the right to hunt. So we're going to get, as New South Welshmen, we will have in the legislation, in our constitution, the right to hunt. So they can't, I'm assuming it's so they can't remove it, because we already have the ability to
Yeah, I was going to say
register. We can register.
We can already hunt.
But it's not a right at the moment.
Yeah. Like you need a license.
No. So I think you still need all those parameters.
Yeah.
Nothing's really changing except for in my mind, it's restricting future governments from being able to
Stop it.
Stop it. Yeah.
Yeah.
If we have that right, they can't remove.
But there's okay. So is there any sort of, is it just the right to hunt? Like, is there anything extra there? It's just like,
No,
what is the actual policy there? Like, I
so
don't,
nothing's changing as far as you need to. If you're doing hunting with a gun, you still need to get your gun license and your
yeah.
certificate to purchase and all this stuff.
Well, you can hunt with other things.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hunting with other things. So bow hunting, it will be protected. It's just a protection.
Yep. Can you hunt in a national park?
Well, that's not state run.
That's
That's
true. You're right.
yeah,
You are
yeah.
correct there.
That'll be federal.
Yeah.
So it'll be under
My
the
bad.
federal jurisdiction. But definitely state forests and
State
stuff like that.
forest. Yeah.
But you still have to apply to. So if you're going to be hunting in a region, you need to let Service New South Wales know. Like, apply to.
Yeah.
It's like automated. You get approved and stuff. It's just so they know if there's gunshots in here or if you're seen with a bow.
Yeah.
People calling in, you're not going to get, a SWAT team rock up.
Yeah. Okay.
But what do you think of that? Like, we're not Labor supporters.
No.
Yeah.
But I'm as I said when we actually had the episode on the election results, I said like I'm happy to be proven wrong on things.
That was
And, like,
Albanese.
Yeah, I know, but like,
state.
it's still Labor government, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I wouldn't have voted for them in the first place. And so if we had this show around when Labor took over the New South Wales mantle, which hasn't been, I don't know if it's ever happened or is it? No, it's happened before. But like, it's been a long time. It's normally a very safe, liberal kind of area.
Yeah, I think everywhere but Victoria, Victoria and Western Australia, everywhere else they lost their seats if they were looking after the state while COVID happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot of dominoes after COVID.
There were.
But
yeah,
also,
I would have said the same thing there. Like, I'm happy to be proven wrong. I'm looking for the hope in every situation. So I'm going to commend you there. And you're like, good work, finding the hope, the right to hunt.
But having said that, I was listening to the ABC radio. That's how I found out about it. And they were just going, "Oh, everyone's gonna have guns." It's like, hunting's not guns. It's hunting. You can hunt with a knife, with a spear. You can hunt with.
Yeah, there's tons of videos out there of people with dogs, and
dog hunting.
The dogs grab whatever they're hunting, and then they come along in their vehicle, and they get out, put the knife in the heart, and
the right to hunt doesn't mean you can just kill anything. There's still going to be.
There's still protected species.
Yeah,
and animals.
Animals. Yeah, so it's mostly all you can hunt really is deer and goat. And pigs. Kill pigs. You don't really
because they're
disgusting
worms.
Yeah,
gross.
Disgusting. And foxes. You kill foxes too.
Yeah, they're pests.
Yeah, like pests. Yeah,
pests. Get rid of pests. You can hunt roos?
Only on private property, not public lands.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
There you go.
There you go.
So, but no, I just thought that would be interesting, and I'm looking forward to seeing what else he can come up with.
Maybe he needs to start. Maybe you need to get in his ear and start talking to him. Maybe you need to. Yeah,
I just think it's good to see that the rather than restrictions.
Yeah, but like you're coming from, I guess, the most conservative state in Australia. You're still going to have a more conservative Labor government.
Yeah, yeah.
So compared to Victorian government, so like even if they ended up electing someone who is a liberal, they would still be not fully a liberal. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Close to the Greens.
Yeah. And so last week we had some really sad news, being the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Our thoughts and prayers are with his family and friends. What was your first reaction when you heard about the news?
So I was up at a funeral actually, up north at a funeral. Family member passed on, and was staying with a family friend because it was too far for one trip. So I got a 8-month-old, and so we stopped at this friend's house who's only
Mm.
2.5 hours away from the funeral, and she just said, commentate, someone close to Trump has died. It was one of the commentators. I'm like, not Charlie Kirk, straight up,
Yeah.
not Charlie Kirk. She's like, yeah, that's the one. I'm like, far out. Um,
Yeah.
I then looked online and I saw um, a lot of like younger people on like TikTok saying like pretty much sucked in, you deserve this, you wanted gun
Yeah.
rights, all this stuff, and I'm like, uh, there's a difference between gun rights for self defense, and that's quite clearly what he was advocating for,
Yeah.
and especially against tyrannical governments is
Yeah.
the view he took. And there's a difference between that and assassination. It's not like you have the right to have arms only if you're going to assassinate someone.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I went from like, yeah, it's a pretty crappy thing to happen to like it's even worse with what's happened online. But then
Yeah.
days went on, and you saw the videos of people just silently praying together, and
Yeah, the vigils, the
yeah,
memorials and stuff, and then there's been people that's tried to tear them down, and they've had their asses handed to them,
yeah.
rightly so. But you,
And
the
I thought as well with like Jimmy Kimmel and others that even the broadcasters are coming into line to say like, like
yeah, because it's quite like extreme rhetoric to be celebrating someone's death, like that's extreme,
yeah.
and it like and
Uh,
even when it's someone's
Context though, context. He didn't kill anyone.
no, he
He
was
didn't
always
advocate for
willing,
anyone to kill themselves or anything
yeah,
like that. He was always uh, wanting
court,
everyone to do better for themselves, and thought this was
yeah.
the best way to do that, right?
Yeah,
And that's
and
what he
he had
advocated
open
for.
dialogue. He was very diplomatic about everything. He was never fully shutting people down. He was always willing to have the conversation, and he was a moderate. Like he wasn't like this extreme person who'd absolutely control every situation. And if you disagreed with him, he wouldn't want to have you in his circle having a chat to him, but no, he would welcome everyone in, and he was moderate in the sense like when people would ask, like he'd get asked. There's a clip going around where he was asked, "Is there the ability to have like LGBT people in the church?" And or does God love LGBT people? And he's 100% yes. And he explains his position there, and it's just it hit me in a big way, and the response around the world has been, I think, I think, positive. Um, I think people are kind of waking up to this, like especially like there's been people who have been losing jobs because they've been celebrating someone's death, and I think that's a good outcome. You're kind of seeing the crazy more and more
Yeah,
because of it, but you've also seen a resolve like no other from the people that supported or were friends with Charlie Kirk. So you're finding all the right ring, the conservative Christian conservative, the any sort of anyone on the right really. So even um, Daily Wire, Alex Jones, everyone is like a fire has been lit, and people aren't like, I guess the intention is to cause terror when you do something like that, and I think it's done the opposite.
yeah. What's the looking back? What's um your favorite moment or favorite thing that he's given or said?
I think that in every conversation, he really brought a lot of it back to Christianity and his walk with God. And I think he was really motivated um, by his faith in God and his Protestant background. Jesus died for him. He wanted to share that with others. And as a Christian myself, that's incredibly heartwarming. It's something I want to aspire to do as well, because it's just. And every time you know, I think about like how I would do things and whatnot. If I ever was in a position of any sort of power, I would want to try to make sure I was uh, above reproach in those kind of things. And I think he was doing a really good job of doing that. Especially, he kept his family close. He always went, like, he had mentors that he would go to and talk through things. I think he did things in the right way. And
I thought it was amazing that he was popular, having like being Christian stopped being cool a little while ago, right?
yes,
And he's
was
was very focused, like God first. So my thing was, uh, he always would be like salvation matters number one, and then everything underneath it,
yeah,
right? The salvation first,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
And so even like you talk trans issues or whatever, which we get hung up on,
yeah,
ultimately that doesn't matter. Salvation matters,
yeah,
and everything's underneath it. It's just temporary.
yeah. And he said I think one of the quote is the good, the perfect, and the beautiful. That he would always be striving for those things, and in God's world, and that he would want um, God's word to go out, and that everyone. And I think he actually, you can see it in his conversations, interaction with every single one of them. He knew that every single one of these people were an image bearer of God, and that God loves them, and that God wants them in his house. And I think Charlie really amplified that, and I think he did that very respectfully as well. And it's just crazy that someone would actually want to take that away, especially a family man. He's not radical, and it saddens me that there was people out there, like there's even people I know that were like, oh, sad for his family, but the guy advocated for these, for, like, let's say, just let's go with guns. Like, that doesn't mean he deserves to die, and they're kind of justifying that. And I think that's really sad.
Yeah, and with the issues that you bring up, like trans issues, it was more of a point of empathy for the person. It was like, this is a mental health thing. We should be treating it like that and giving them the
Yeah,
care that they need,
yeah,
rather than letting them go through the delusion
yeah. And he was very much against abortion, and he saw every human life as precious and equal
and valuable.
and valuable. Yeah, 100%. And um, yeah, heaven's gained someone amazing, and Earth has lost one of its best warriors. But in saying that, the response from the right has been amazing. As you said, the people who are um, mourning for him and praying for him. Like there was this New Zealand group in America that actually did a haka for him. There was quite a few students doing it, and it was so cool just to watch that Charlie's reach has gone across the world. It was not just in the US. There's people here that he's affected. There's people everywhere around the world that he's affected. There's been things that have been coming through. There was even like an African group in Africa, like giving respect, paying respects to Charlie Kirk. So I think there's a shift coming, and I think this is a catalyst for something that's going to like there's something big happening. I think God's moving quite radically, and I think the people are motivated to, and I hope they're motivated in the right way. I don't want to see more violence. Like, I don't want to see anyone hurt physically at all from this. But I think those people who need to be um, held accountable by the judicial system needs to be held accountable. So
Um,
the proper system of justice, not the far radical side of justice being assassinations. That's not on.
um, there's another point, and I like to think about this when things are happening in the world that are quite major, and I think this is quite major. Do you think this could be like he's a shining light, he's a beacon
Yeah.
for Christianity and getting the word out? Could this be demonic attacks, that kind of thing? Would you categorize it out, or
Oh, look, I believe it could be demonic attacks, but the only way it is a demonic attack is that it's allowed by God. Just like Job, the devil,
that's a tough one?
the Satan was allowed to hurt and attack Job, but God was in control the whole
I
time.
don't even
So
understand that verse because the devil has to know that God's only going to make that bet if he's gonna, if he's gonna win.
but it's not like I don't think it was a bet, but like
He's like, I can take him from you.
yeah, he thinks
I reckon I can take him from.
I reckon I can make him curse you because
Yeah,
he well look he knows the foul like how humans are fallible
yeah.
and
That's
God is righteous and he pointed out Job is righteous.
who was it? There's a conservative commentator that says, no, it was a comedian. He goes, "How bad must have Job's wife been? Because
Yeah,
everything,
yes,
everything's
everything.
taken from him,
But
but she stays behind."
like the the Satan, I believe he's just let's just say like he's a part of this heavenly council. There's a whole bunch of them there. These guys are little g gods, right? I think they have free will as well, and they do make their minds up about God, just like humans make our minds up about God.
Are we going to go into this for a bit longer? Because I got some questions that I've been pondering.
On Job,
Oh no,
on just
on Christianity
Christianity,
and heaven.
we can, or do you want to save it for another episode? We are just hitting.
Well, I think
We're just hitting just under an hour. Like we're hitting an hour now.
it might be a teaser to because I don't know that you can answer this question.
Yeah. Maybe we need to, you ask the question, then we come back next week and talk
Maybe.
about it.
Well, you can edit out this if it goes nowhere.
No, we'll still talk about it.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't like editing things out. So
Okay. So
it's more work for me.
Adam, my brother, he once was talking to me about heaven and what he thought that was.
Yeah.
And I'm not very well read, but his idea was completely whack. He thought that all these, all the dogs that he had when he was a kid, they're there.
Yeah.
All his mates uh, from high school and stuff, they're playing footy together in heaven. Going down to the pub, that kind of thing. Like, and then I was like, no, that's not what happens. You praise holy, holy all day, and you're just championing God all day. You're
Well,
you can't. And then I thought to myself, if you're in heaven and you're seeing the creator of all things of all time, that's all you can do.
yeah.
You go down, bow in awe, and say, "Holy, holy."
Yeah. And I think that there will be a lot of that. That we'll be giving a lot of glory and praise to God. In saying that, God will, so we won't remain in heaven. There'll be a new creation, a whole bunch of verses in Old and New Testament. Revelation talks about it a lot. That there will be the old earth will be done away with, and there will be a new earth. So again, matter, this kind of thing. So there'll be a new world to explore and whatnot. But we will, I guess, everything will be kind of what it was meant to be in the first place. So us completely united with God in partnering with Him in ruling the matter world. So and Jesus is going to be, I guess, the person on the throne there as well. And so we will be completely of worship of him as well, of that, but there will also be probably this whole new world to explore, look after, like we were supposed to in the first place. So we were given like, and I think this is the purpose of one of the purposes of humanity, and that the kind of the sonship and rulership that God gave to us over other beings. And it's something that we are going to get to do in partnership with God, is rule over this mattered universe.
So that was just a premise to get onto the next point.
Yeah.
Okay, so then I thought, so you're in heaven, you're praising God, and that's all you can do because you're looking at the Creator, and I truly believe when you see, like, we'll all be like Moses, right, shining just from the holy presence, right, in
Well,
heaven.
I think we're all going to be a lot more like so Moses, I think, was a close but not there, and I think Jesus is kind of the there, right?
Yeah.
So he's a fully man, fully God in one, and he's the transfiguration that you see at Gethsemane is what I think humanity is going to be in the future.
But I'm saying just in the interim in heaven, right? Before we
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But then I thought Lucifer was in heaven, right?
Yes.
And then he goes, I want that seat. I want that throne.
Yeah.
So he was able to sin in heaven and envy and desire, right? Are we capable of that in
In
heaven?
heaven.
And then does that mean we don't get to go to Earth 2.0? Like, is this
I would have to, I guess I would have to kind of would have to go looking through
scripture? Yeah.
scripture there for that. Off the top of my head, I can kind of just say I'm not entirely sure. We could even try call in
Pastor?
a pastor for this
Yeah.
as well, because that might be a fun episode to actually talk about those type of things. I know one of the pastors I talked to talked about the Satan, and like it's not just the Satan, but like there was other beings in creation that decided to rebel. So it's not just Satan; it was humans. There was even beasts that rebelled. So like even the snake was a beast rebelling against God. And so will there be able to be rebelling after, I guess, sin has been that I guess the evil has been done away with? Has our kind of free will to be able to sin disappeared?
So I'm okay with that saying, like, if God
I'm not sure because like
if God set up the system like it's so on earth that we can choose him,
Mm,
and the devil had to rebel. I'm happy with that, and then there's no rebellion once that one's been
yeah, but
done away
I
with.
think what we might be missing here is that we are going to have this uniting with God without our sin-filled bodies. Like we're going to get new bodies as well.
Yeah.
We're going to have a complete union with God through the Holy Spirit and Jesus. And I think
And Satan was not that way.
I don't think I don't think all of I don't know if his heavenly creation acted that way, because
No union.
like even I don't think they had the same thing. Like they um there's a few people kind of wonder when they were created and why they were created. So the verses about stars and signs.
Yeah.
And there's a few verses that kind of back this up. Some theologians actually think that there was the creation of the little g gods kind of thing. So the Satan, the angels, things like that, because they all point to God. But there's different verses out there that actually talk about them as beings that have power as Elohim. And so some of the it's there's so much there. there's this understanding that we as humanity were second born, and you can see this right through the Old Testament, that the second born gets the blessings from God or from their father, kind of thing. So we were given rulership over the earth by God, and we were supposed to rule with him. But there's this idea that there was jealousy because of that. So the second born getting the goods, not the firstborn, which is very countercultural even to us humans. So there's a whole bunch of different ideas out there that I probably can't articulate very well, but it is a huge subject.
The more like
The more you think about it, it's the harder. It's a really tough subject to think
I
about.
let it be, because I get to moments where I'm like, I just trust that God, like, he created everything. So
Yeah,
if it's the way it is, I'm going to be okay with that. 'Cause who am I to question
yeah,
that?
yeah.
But then I start thinking more about it. The more I'm trying to process and understand it, the harder it gets.
Well, I think the idea that the union is where we're getting to, the union, complete union with God and in creation and creator together, that I think even those the evil parts and the sinful parts will be done away with. They'll be destroyed forever. So even the devil in his in his prison will be destroyed at some stage as well, and every the hell will be destroyed. That the beings, the humanity, the heavenly bodies, the whatever, the other Elohim have actively chosen God, and they will be united with him as well in the next life, if I can put it that way, in the new earth.
Yeah,
new
maybe this
heaven.
is a good one for another episode.
It is very much a good one for another episode.
Get a
We'll try and
call
get
in or some seats filled.
Yeah, we got a few seats here. We if anyone gets this far into the podcast and want to join us for this this kind of discussion on theology in terms of angels, demons, and God and the afterlife, heaven, the new earth, the new creation, like bring it on. Come on and send us a message and come on.
What's the email again?
contact@seahopepodcast.com. Easy.
Done it.
I'll put it in the description as well. But let's wrap up there. So closing remark, you know, we're all here praying for Charlie Kirk, and we don't, you know, his legacy. We'll pray for the effect that he has had on this world, and he's continuing to have, and that the people who take up his mantle, like his amazing wife Erica, that we can keep the momentum going. That to see, you know, God's word go out even in tragedy. Yeah,
Especially in tragedy.
that's right. Yeah, I think Charlie Kirk is like our like Martin Luther King kind of thing. This is a big moment for us. And I think God's moving, and like he's always moving, but I think there's a big thing happening. And you can see it around the world. There's people standing up against corruption everywhere. It could be the sign of the end times. You never know, but it could be the sign that there's just big things happening. And so we've got to be actively praying about those things and be on guard as well. There is an evil out there, and that the evil does have the ability to work, as we have seen. John, anything in closing?
No, it's been good to get back into it, and
We'll see you next
looking
week.
forward to the next discussion.
Sounds good. All right, everyone, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, share the show with all your friends. Yeah, we hope to see you next time. Have a good